Let's get straight into the video in championship order. Max Verstappen is an extremely fast Dutch driver, especially for his age of 24 years, but he is sometimes too aggressive for his own good when overtaking. He won his first driver's title in 2021, beating the British Lewis Hamilton in the process. Lewis is also extremely fast and experienced at 36 years old, and his only really minor weaknesses are that he is sometimes slower in qualifying than his teammate, and the ability to not defend or overtake when he needed to most. Lewis' teammate in third is the Finnish Valtteri Bottas, who is usually known for his great qualifying pace, but really struggling to defend or overtake in the race, which is a reason why many thought that Valtteri was not deserving of a seat at Mercedes. He moved to the current back of the field team Alfa Romeo to avoid the internal affairs at the previous team Mercedes. The Mexican Sergio Perez is Max's teammate. Sergio generally helps to defend Max, and Perez also does well in races in the event that he qualifies badly. Carlos Sainz is a Spaniard who will be pushing his teammate Charles Leclerc to his limits. Carlos adapted very well to his new Ferrari car last year, so chances are that he will be very fast this year as well. His former British teammate Lando Norris is the second youngest driver in Formula 1 and defended from drivers like Verstappen and Hamilton. Lando is a fast learner to say the least. Carlos' teammate is Charles Leclerc, who has his home race in Monaco, but is less consistent than Carlos but has higher highlights. Charles was signed to Ferrari after his first season, so someone saw the speed in him, and it certainly was there. In 8th place is Australian Daniel Ricciardo, the teammate to the younger Lando Norris. Daniel has previously raced for Red Bull with Max Verstappen, so he has experience winning races, but because he didn't adapt greatly to his now McLaren car, he finished behind Lando in the standings despite winning a race. Daniel should really be ahead of Lando, to be honest. Next is the speedy Frenchman Pierre Gasly. Everyone is now so used to him outperforming relative to his teammate and car that it is nothing special. He punches above his weight in practice and qualifying, and somehow won a race. Ironically, he did all of this at the lower midfield team AlphaTauri. In the exact middle of the grid is the second Spaniard Fernando Alonso, which is deceiving. He is a two-time world champion, over 40 years old, and has a likable personality, especially if you are Spanish. He was able to defend from Lewis Hamilton to help his teammate Esteban Ocon win a race in Hungary. Ocon is another French driver. He gets on well with Alonso. I think that he will be a driver to look out for in the future because he is quite young. His teamwork and learning from Alonso, and because he has not had a decent car for a while. Then is the four-time world champion Sebastian Vettel, even if his last title was won in 2013. He is one of, if not the most likable drivers on the grid, as long as he is not on the podium. He has been in the midfield for a while now and is not especially adaptable, but his experience can help the team with setting up the car and keeping high morale. Behind him is Seb's teammate the Canadian Lance Stroll. Some think that he will win championships and get podiums, but in my opinion he only really does well in qualifying and heavy rain, and struggles the rest of the time. We all forget that Lance is only 23 years old even when he has basically 5 years of experience. I don't think that he will be spectacular next year, but surprises can always happen. Pierre's teammate is Yuki Tsunoda, who has been doing about okay considering his decent car. He has been destroyed by Gasly, but Gasly has 3 years more experience than Yuki. He has either finished near the back of the field, got a single point, or somehow got many points. I don't think that he is any better than, for example, Mick Schumacher later, because he has a far better car than Mick. Now that George Russell is at Mercedes, he will be able to make use of a Mercedes car. If not, then at least he can learn from Lewis Hamilton. If George was able to make the occasional qualifying lap in second in the 8th or 9th slowest car, he will definitely not be far off Hamilton in qualifying on Saturday. Just like Valtteri Bottas from before. The other driver at Alfa Romeo is Guanyu Zhou, the first Chinese driver in F1. He has been made fun of because of the money he is bringing to the team, instead of a more deserving Formula 2 driver, but Oscar Piastri should bring some cash if he wants the seat as well, and Zhou seems deserving enough, finishing in the top 3 of Formula 2 against some fierce competition. I don't think that it should be anywhere near as controversial as other driver transfers. I am hopeful for him next year with his experienced teammate Bottas. The first of the Williams drivers is Nicolas Latifi, who has not been able to prove much in one of the slowest cars on the grid, which makes it really hard to predict how he will do next year if he gets a decent car win, because always finishing and qualifying slowly. I would say the same for Mick Schumacher. The Haas car from 2021 was really bad as well, though he won Formula 2 in 2020 and spun the car less than his Russian teammate Nikita Mazepin. Finally, it's infamous Nikita Mazepin. I'll be honest in saying that he was a really decent driver back in Formula 2, though he lost a lot of that speed over the off-season. However, he has managed to irk just about every other driver on the grid with his questionable driving. Once again, he will likely get more penalty points than actual points this season. Well, that's it for all of the drivers, and maybe I'll make a video about teams later, so stick around on this channel for that video. If not, I'll see you all next week, and bye.